going to be saddling Castor in a different location. So we've already worked in protected contact with the round pen. Now I just have him out in the yard, which is fenced in, just to be clear. And I'm just going to kind of work through the same process I did before. Put the saddle on, click, and then take it right off. And then I'm going to build up the amount of time the saddle's on his back, and then I'm going to add in like this pad and the girth and those kind of things. So there, click, and then I will feed him while it's on his back. And you might have to build up before you do that point. So if like there, it took me like 4 or 5 seconds, maybe even longer, of having the saddle on his back while I fed. If your horse isn't as relaxed as Castor is, I would definitely make sure he's okay with that leap before you do it. Like count, like okay, he can put it on, count 1 second, do that 3 times, put it on, he can be on there for 2 seconds, and then build that up before you leave it on. For Castor, he's already done this. He's already worked with the saddle. We're just doing it in a different location, so I can kind of skip a little bit more. But I would be careful about doing that in the beginning. So there, like again, he's already used to the pad. Now I can put the saddle on, and he's nice and relaxed. And his body language looks nice too. Like he's got one ear on me, he's got one ear on everything else, and his neck is nice and level. He looks pretty calm and relaxed. So I'm just kind of messing with taking the saddle on, putting it off, having the pad on, having nothing on. So and just kind of playing with that, having him move a step too. Um, and he's already had all that other training done already that you've seen. But again, just like I talked about in other lessons, we do all the steps where he's okay with the pad, he's okay with the saddle, and then now I'm kind of combining them a little bit. So I can take it on and off and have him move a little bit and then kind of just play with it a little bit. So like he moved and then he stood still, I took it off, put it back on. So depending on the horse, like when I do this with Atlas, it's going to be a lot more structured because Atlas has a lot more fear. So it's going to be okay, Atlas has the saddle on for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And then, he has the pad on for that long, and then he has both on for that long, and then we start walking. It's not going to be as mixed up until he's much further along. So I'm asking him to go forward, and I just have like one hand on my saddle in case I want to like pull it off. If it falls off, that's okay. Like this is my actual riding saddle, but I will put a saddle on him, which I'm going to pull off like I did with the bear and with the saddle pads, where I just pull it off while he's moving, because I want him to think like that's a normal part of being ridden. Sometimes things fall off of you, and it's not the end of the world. So I do have like just a junk saddle, and I will put that on him, and I'll pull it off of him, and I use that too. You'll see that later on. But that's a good step to have too, is making sure that they're okay with that. But I'm just gonna go ahead and turn him around. He did a couple nice steps having the saddle on, and he's already had the surcingle on and the saddle on and everything in the round pen. I don't want to do a ton. Like I'm just trying to get him to generalize a little bit more that okay, we put the saddle on in different locations in different ways. Like I'm not gonna girth him up out here. I'll do that in the round pen and in the arena. Not He's not gonna do that out here yet. But this is just kind of a little intermediate clip of him just getting used to the saddle in a new location, and he's taking to it quite well. He's being nice and relaxed. So he also is thinking that he needs to stand really close to me, so I'm just going to scoot him back a little bit. But he's paying attention really nice. I could probably feed him away from my body a little bit better, but overall he's doing well. Like I can always improve on a couple things. So again, same thing as the other side, just kind of take it on and off. And he's pretty cool with that whole process. And he'll come target my hand. This looks great. So I'm really good with that. I'd probably go back into the round pen, get my play saddle, pull it on and off of him, make sure he's cool with that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and girth up my saddle and let him go in the round pen just like I did with the surcingle where he can follow my target and move around with it a little bit on, and then I'll go ahead and do that in the arena around the round pen and then kind of progress from there. But that's kind of the next few steps for Castor. This was just like a little intermediate thing for him.